Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Indoor Golf Alliance weekly podcast interview with an operator. So glad that you can join us. And I know your time is valuable, so I promise you that this will be well worth your time. Hey, we're excited for our guest, but for those of you who are new and haven't been with us before, my name is Phil Immordino, and we are the Indoor Golf Alliance. We're the association for the indoor golf industry. And our mission is simple to help you grow your business. And we do that through information, through education, through networking. And we hope that the tools that we can bring you will help you be successful. So today we're excited because we interview successful operators around the country. And our hope is that you can learn. You can learn so that you can be successful in your market. So today we have Steve from the Gulf Coast Indoor. And Steve, we're excited to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you being here. We're excited to hear kind of everything about you. We've got plenty of time, so why don't you start from the beginning? How in the world did you get here? Tell us your background and what got you excited about starting an indoor golf operation.
Well, background wise, originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now I'm living in South Mississippi. And I was in the military. And when I got out of the military for when I was about 25 years old, I got in the automotive business and started selling cars and been in the dealership operations for the last 31 years doing that. And it's a little bit of a grind, but it becomes addicting in the business acumen side of it. I've owned a restaurant, I've owned a nightclub, I've owned a dealership. I've done a little bit of different things over the years. And really, I wanted to do something fun for a change. And that's kind of where the indoor golf side came into play. I actually got this whole thing came together over a Golden Tee machine, is really how it happened. And I wish my wife was on this with us because she would probably give you her side of the story. But I wanted a Golden Tee machine and it wouldn't fit in the house since we downsized. And I needed some storage and I bought a building and I said, it'll fit in there. And she said, well, what else are you going to do? And I said, well, I always wanted a golf simulator. I'm going to put a golf simulator in there. And she said, well, what are you going to do with that? I said, I think I'm going to turn it into a business. And she goes, what if nobody comes? I said, I got a big man cave. And that's really how it started a year and a half ago was me arguing with her about where to put my Golden Tee machine, which I ultimately did get my Golden Tee machine.
How fun is that? So you are a golfer at heart.
I am what I feel is I feel there are more of me than there are you. I think I am a average golfer who's a casual golfer who played when he could, um, didn't want to be away from the kids 5, 6 hours on a Saturday, but played when I can, went to outings with friends, work functions. And I'm the casual guy. I'm not the instructor. I'm not the serious, you know, be in a league every week type person. But I like to play. It's fun and it's a challenge. And I see that in my business. I think there's a lot of me's that come through my doors.
Yeah, you are 90% of the market, which
Right.
is perfect. And I tell you, Golden Tee, I remember that way back in the early days, and that has even come a long way. They had a big presence at the PGA show, which was interesting to see. But as you have seen, the simulator business has come a long way. So to make sure I understand, you bought the warehouse first and you had it and then
Yep.
decided to get into the business.
Yeah, I bought the property first. It was close to where we live. It was zoned for a lot of different things. And at the time, I said, you know what? I just want to buy this property so that I have the property
Mhm.
and we'll decide what we want to do with it. So it sits on, a little over 2 acres. It's 3,000 square foot building. And it was really operating as a church when I got it. It was a little
Yeah,
rundown.
right. Yeah.
And that's kind of how, I really just wanted the property.
And so, what made you decide on the format and what it would look like? Well, first of all, tell us what is the format? Is there membership? Is there leagues? Tell us how the whole operation works.
I'll be honest with you, we're still finding our way a little bit.
Yeah.
I do my best thinking in my swimming pool, and
Ah.
we decided on this whole operation in my swimming pool. Well, my daughters was around who they're grown. She came up with the name. She works in marketing, and we played off of Gulf Coast because we're on the Gulf Coast, and we just took the Gulf word and put it together. So it's great for SEO and
Mm.
marketing.
Yes.
But really, we work with I'm 80% to the public. We're 20% member based. That's what my stats have been for the past year. Um, I wanted it to be accessible to everybody. I don't like or didn't like the idea of being forced to do 3 month minimum memberships and things because again, I'm focusing on me. I'm looking for the me person who wants to go try something. And I see even when I travel a little bit, like there's some places you can't just go play. I just had a guy message me a little while ago who's in from out of town, didn't bring his clubs, just sent an email in. Yeah, come on by, play. I got clubs for you. I'm not charging you for the clubs. Let's go. But we focus primarily on the everyday person group. It's a wide demographic. It really is. I don't want to say we haven't found our niche, but our niche is pretty wide. Right now, I have serious golfers that are in every day, that are unlimited members that are serious. And then I have, yesterday I had a gentleman with two little kids with their clubs, and they were learning how to play golf and everything in between. So I like that aspect of it.
So you're open to the public, but yet you do offer some membership packages.
Yep. And we're 24/7,
Okay.
365 to everybody.
Okay.
Um, I control the whole facility electronically on my phone.
Hmm.
Cameras, everything, computers, lights, you name it, I control it. If nobody is here, I flip the switch, and if people are here, I flip it all back on. Um, and thank God, knock on wood, we haven't had any crazy issues that have happened. Outside of people leaving pizza on the floor or something stupid. But that's just part of doing business.
Right.
We come by with the vacuum and clean it up.
Do you offer food and beverage?
We do. No, we, it's BYOB. Bring your own food in. We market towards, hey, there's a pizza place across the street. There's a beer distributor, liquor store across the street. I have, I call it my cheap sodas. I have, sodas and energy drinks and water. I just charge to recoup my cost, and I sell the heck out of candy bars. A
Mm.
lot of candy bars and chips and crackers, and we do way more business than I thought with that. But it's more of a convenience thing. It's not a profit center. It's more of a customer service aspect
Yep.
of it, the way I look at
Make,
it.
makes sense. Now I see you have a pro shop there.
Yeah, so here that's a fun venture. So I bought the building. My wife and I argued that she wanted to rent out the 1,000 square foot on the left side. Um, I won that argument too. So it's very few in my 30 years of marriage, but I won that one. I had built in the wall, and then I had to have my guys come through and cut another hole in the wall. So yeah, so we just technically today is actually our first day with real hours. We've been kind of slow rolling it. Um, I have a employee I just hired to start working tomorrow with her. She worked retail for 30 years in the malls and running clothing stores and that. So this is her expertise, not mine. I pick what I like, and then she tells me that she don't like it, and we're going to sell something different. So, but we've been selling some stuff like just to the people coming through casually with things, and we're adding stuff daily.
Perfect. I love that aspect of it. So let's back up a second. So you bought the building. You came up with the idea. Now, how did you choose the equipment they're using? What equipment are you using, and how did you decide on that?
Okay, equipment wise, it was interesting. I started this last February of really starting to get serious about it. Okay, hey, what am I going to buy? And I mean, funny story. I don't know if it's funny or not, but I was golfing at a golf outing. I was a little thirsty that day. We had some fun. So I don't want to say I was intoxicated, but I was feeling okay. And
Adult beverages. Mhm.
I met with a TrackMan rep, and he came to the facility, walked it with me. Great guy, blew me away with everything. And then I started putting the pencil to the paper with the numbers. My business acumen checked in, and for what I was going to do, the math didn't math. And I started looking at options. I use my business model as an example of how you can get into business and make decisions solely on social media. I deep dove into social media. I started getting targeted ads. I started researching companies, and the companies that were the most active and in my face is where I went. And so we deal with a very small company relative to the United States. We deal with Golfin,
Mhm.
and which is very huge in Canada, but they don't have a huge footprint in the United States. Their rep was fantastic in talking to me and explaining things to me. I looked at the technology compared to everything else. I put the money to the paper or paper to the money, whatever you want to do with it. And I liked it. And I liked the way they worked with me. So we have Hydra 2 launch monitors in our facility. I like the fact that they were probably as dumbed down as they could be when it came to the integration with GS Pro, because I knew I was going to have a lot of people who just wanted to play courses, right? They weren't coming in for a full blown workout on specs and things, but the system provides it. And I have counted, I've had 600 customers come through the door. I've had four people that have reached out and asked me, which launch monitor are you using during that period? And the only thing that I feel that we run short on is we don't have an app like TrackMan does, or a couple other brands where you can, keep your data. But we work around with those people that are serious. We show them how to export data. We show them how to, email it. I have guys that come through. I have some older guys that honestly in their mid 70s that like their notebooks and they write a lot of notes down. Um, so have I had complaints? Not that I know of, not to my face, but my retention's good and the product's been very good for me. Even very limited issues, again, knock on wood. And when something happens, they're very responsive.
Mm.
So
So do you offer do you have any instructors that come in and use your facility? Do you offer instruction?
yeah, that's something that we've gotten into recently. Again, if I was here full time all the time and this was my main thing in life, I think we'd be much further ahead. It's not. So, with just my wife and I doing it, finding our way, what works, what doesn't work. I've teamed up with a gentleman who has a fitness facility near us, who is a PGA instructor. He's also TPI certified. He's Ledbetter certified, level two. He does some private TPI coaching and instructions that he does. He reached out to me. We went through things for a while. Um, and what we do is we offer, if you become a member for us, we offer you a free TPI assessment through him. That's automatic.
Hmm.
He presents his program. If they want to sign up for him, they do some stuff here, do some stuff at his place, which is about 10 miles from me, or 10 minutes from me, excuse me. Um, I also have another gentleman who has we've talked about doing instruction, who works with the junior program that we have locally. Talked to him. I've had another guy who was a PGA instructor for a while, worked at did fittings, a lot of things like that. He's asked about doing some instruction. We've had some interest, and also the guys that go through the TPI program with the Duff X Golf is who I teamed up with. Um, he sends his instructors back to us to actually work in the simulators. In addition to he does it at the country club near us, he does some outside work, but he sends them back to us to actually work inside. and we give them a program also. So we got a lot of stuff going on with that. We got a new website coming out later this week. It's going to have all that on there, and we kind of had to restructure some things to get a little bit more serious. So we have plans to go after some of those other people, but we're still focusing on the 80% today.
How many golf courses within 30 minutes of you?
Biggest thing, where I'm located, we are 1 mile from the community of Diamond Head, Mississippi, which is a golf club community. They got two courses. They're in the top 10 ranked in the state of Mississippi, on that side. So we do that's our primary market area, I guess you would say, is that club and those people. People can drive through on their golf cart, pull right into our facility. In addition to that, there's the Oaks, there's other courses that are close, the bridges that are all around us here on the coast. And we get, some members from those guys that come back and forth. So not a ton of courses, but enough. And you got to remember the population's a little light down this part of the country too.
But do you actively have any agreements or partnerships with those golf courses? Have you talked with them? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, nothing official. The Diamond Head guys, which are fantastic. Honestly, we share a lot of information back and forth on social media. They'll share my, like, they're one of their head instructors just shared two posts that I had on a couple Facebook, like the Diamond Head pages and the golf club community. Plus, he has a golfing one on the coast. He shares info. I'll share their information. Like if they have a special going on, with tee times or pricing, I'll share it on my page and vice versa. Technically, we don't have anything in writing saying, hey, I'll do this for you, you do this for me. It's just kind of unwritten. They've come here. I mean, there's guys from the board over there that come through, use the facility now and again. They missed the boat a little bit. They've admitted they originally talked about doing this, what I did. They couldn't come to an agreement. And while they were arguing, I did it. I didn't know that was happening. It was just coincidence. So I could have been on the wrong side of the fence, but it worked out okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think if they're smart, I mean, we're all in the same family and we should promote each other if
Yeah, they have been. They've been great. They've been great with that. So
right, right. So do you offer any tournaments or leagues or event business?
that's one thing we're looking at right now. I was approached by one reason we haven't done it is, to be honest with you, is I'm a little, I don't want to say scared of them. I'm a novice when it comes to that aspect. I don't want to screw it up. My, uh, my opinion in business is don't be the smartest guy in the room. And I needed to find somebody smarter than me. I was approached by somebody on social media locally, who actually did it at another facility who manages leagues. He's approached me and said, "Hey, this is how it would work. I'll manage it. I'll do everything." I said, "Or do I sign up? Let's do it." So we're right now. We've sent out an email to our members, not members, but all of our database who has an interest. I'd like to probably kick that off in maybe August or September. So we're kind of dating with that right now, but nothing specific. I haven't done anything beyond that, which is an area of
Can,
opportunity for us.
can someone rent your place out for an event?
Yep, we do that extensively. I probably have at least two a month that I do. I have a big sign up in the building. Um, we charge an exclusivity fee on the facility plus bay time,
Mhm.
and it's very affordable. And I give them access 30 minutes before their party and 30 minutes after to clean up and set up and parties. I've had 70-year-old birthday parties. I had business leadership summits. I've had the local high school golf banquet. Their team actually had it here, which worked out fantastic because guess what they want to do? It was actually for the girls golf team. Guess what they want to do? They want to golf.
Yeah.
All the parents socialize. They want to golf. So we do that a lot. Birthday parties. I just booked a fantasy football party, which guess what? I didn't even think about that. And I play fantasy football. I was like, well, heck, this is a great place for a fantasy football draft.
Right.
So yeah, so we do that. Um, and we search for that a little bit.
So it sounds like you do a lot of marketing. What and how do you think your marketing works best?
What's funny is that and I'll disclose this because I'm not embarrassed by it. I haven't spent more than $200 since the day I've opened in a monthly basis on marketing. I'm very I think I'm good at marketing in general just because of my operations background from running dealerships over the years. My daughter works for my dealerships and she also works for me through here. So she's the one doing my creative and things for me. But I do a lot of stuff myself. Like she just turned 30 years old. She's on a trip with her boyfriend. I'm doing the postings right now. I think you got to be active on Facebook. You got to be active on Instagram. I do a little bit of stuff on TikTok. The younger guys have seen me on TikTok. I've been stopped at a couple golf courses when I'm playing. Say, hey, are you the guy on TikTok that has the indoor place? And I'm like, yeah. Would you want an inter? What you need? You want an autograph? What you guys need?
You're a
So, and they're all
celebrity.
young guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all young guys, and
Yeah.
it's cool. So it's really word of
Fun.
mouth. Um, I had an older gentleman who told me, he said, Steve, nobody knows you're here. He goes, you don't do enough marketing. And I said, Mr. Jones, were you able to get a tea time yesterday? He said, no, you were too busy. I said, exactly. I said,
Everyone knows.
why
Yeah.
advertise if I'm too busy? And I'm not too busy today, right? It's July, it's 115 today, feels outside. But there's an opportunity to do more. But I mean, I use Facebook like crazy. And um, I've dabbled with some other things. I mean, it's all digital marketing these days. That's all it is.
Well, I think you just encouraged a lot of folks to say you don't need to spend a lot of money to get the local market there in your area.
No, advertising, there's a fine line between what's your return on the investment with that. Some of it is ego. Some people like to advertise so they can see their own name. I want people to see my name. I don't need to see my own name.
Right.
So I try to target people. I think you have to be smart about it. You got to go after the right demographic. Shotgunning ads and doing things is not the way to go. We're not perfect at it, but I think when you look at it from a P&L perspective, I think a lot of people look at at the end of the month saying, man, I spent too much in marketing. I didn't get enough out of it. I think you got to look in the mirror. What did you do, with that? Because
Right.
it can jack your expenses up pretty quick doing the wrong stuff.
Have you reached out to any local groups to do any partnerships like the Chamber of Commerce or meeting planners or charities or any of those?
Yeah, so a couple things. I mean, we are a member of the local chamber. We technically have never done our full-blown even grand opening for this facility. We're doing that next month. So that'll be our first opportunity because I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to do it to just do it. So I think that's a good time for us to get some of the businesses in and show what other businesses, like how can you be involved? What can you do here, meetings, those type things. Um, I've joined the VGA Veteran Golf Association. Um, I those guys have been great. I've played in a handful of events. Just did the Mississippi State Championship last weekend, which was fantastic. That's a great organization. I have a handful of guys that belong there that come through. I give them a special discount code that they have specifically just for them that comes through. They were very welcoming, allowing me to give a little speech when I was there, saying, "Hey, this is who I am. Here's where I am. Here's your code. If y'all want to come." Type deals. I have brochures here. I've had a couple non-members just join their group. Vice versa. I think it's good. We've talked to the Wounded Warrior group. I'm prior military. I was in the Air Force, so I'm big with those type of things. So I've looked at working with the Wounded Warrior group out of Gulfport. We've talked a little bit how to do it. Um, so for me, it's not a financial play. I really just think I think it's good. It's just good thing to do. Type stuff. So
Absolutely. So, one of the biggest questions that I always get, especially for new people who are trying to get in this business, is well, one is did you check out any franchises, and did you make a decision to go independent over franchise, and why?
Okay, so I don't want to offend anybody. This is just my own personal opinion. Okay. I don't, I'm not anti-franchise. I just don't get it, to be honest with you. Um, this business was not difficult to get off the ground. And I've seen even some of the prior podcasts and people that post things online. Everybody's going to tell you everything is their stuff's the best, right? Everybody has an opinion. There's enough resources out there for you that you don't need to write 10, 20, 30, $40,000 checks to people to tell you how to do it. I mean, you want to write a check for 20 grand, write it to me. I'll tell you how to do it. Right. But that's,
Right.
I don't think that's the case. I work in, again, I run, I run one of the largest RV dealer groups in the country in my real life. Um, I've worked for Toyota in my career. You know, I'm very familiar with the franchise model. Um, you know, I've looked at, I looked at Back Nine initially, right? They're the player, right? Last I looked, they had 235 locations. They're popping up everywhere. I followed a build not too far from me, and I just looked at where they're at. I know what the overhead is in that building. I saw the build out. I saw the equipment. Man, it's a lot of debt. Like it's a lot of debt out of the gate. And I'm gonna tell you, my personal opinion based on what I see is for everyone that's opening, two are closing. I get messages every week because people will see me on social media. Hey, I'm closing down. Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy that? It's not an easy business. Again, I started this for fun, and then my business ego kicked in where now I want to be successful, right? So I took it to the next step at that point, and I still have my own challenges, and there's things I need to do better myself, and I have to reevaluate. But looking at the franchise model, there's so many, and I don't see where they're doing anything different than what I'm doing. And I'm not cutting them a check every month.
Right,
Like,
right, right, right.
just my personal opinion. Like I
No,
said, I'm
that's
not trying to offend the franchise guys. Maybe someday one of them will buy me out. I'll
well,
charge
that
them rent. You know,
and
it's
that
it
and
is.
that, that always an option and always a possibility. So let me ask you this, and probably the second biggest question we get and I'm not asking for necessarily details or specifics, but ballpark, what's the investment? What's the cost? What does it take to get started?
I think I know I spent less than six figures to get my place going from just the business side. Now, again, I bought the property. I'm paying myself rent, right? I have I have all that said. Yeah, so if you take the building out of the equation and just get into it, you don't I don't think you need to spend 50, 60, $70,000 to put a bay in, right? For every bay that I was quoted, I can put two bays up the way I'm doing it. Guess what? The hourly rate that I run is really the same as it's actually less than what you have to charge. And I'm not busting TrackMan because I might buy a TrackMan unit. To be honest with you, I'm looking at options for expansion right now and some different things. And I've looked at Unicorn, I've looked at TrackMan, and I'm fishing right now. But I don't think I need to be charging 60, $70 an hour for a guy to come in with his kid and hit some golf balls for an hour. I don't think it's that serious. I really don't. I think it needs to be consumer friendly for everybody. And I have, and I'll disclose it. I have $25 an hour rates in the mornings for senior citizens, and that because I know they're sitting at home and they're on fixed incomes and need something to do. It all adds up. You work off the
Right.
averages. It all works out. Again,
Any expenses pop up or hidden expenses that you weren't thinking about or banking on that surprised you?
yeah. Well, same as the guy from last week. Golf balls, man, or
Yeah.
the week. Man, let me tell you, I'm looking at a stack right now. I probably got six, seven, eight buckets stacked up right now, golf balls, because even though you got signs everywhere, and I got wash buckets and all kind of stuff. Clean your clubs. They don't clean their clubs. and they smash the balls, and some balls will crack once in a while, for the right hitters, and but really they're dirty. The next thing you know, they're damaging the screen and things like that. So screens and I haven't replaced the screen yet. That's probably 60 days out. I made it through the year with the screens. They're not crazy, but balls, man, balls add up quick.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. What kind of balls do you get? And is there better balls than?
I, I'm open to suggestions, so feel free to put in the comments who's got better balls to use that make sense financially. I buy a lot of Vice balls, um, only because of the. I've had Bridgestones. They didn't hold
Mhm.
up well, honestly. Um, some of the Vice do, some of the Vice don't. I've had some Titleists. I'm just kind of looking right now behind me. I have some Titleist balls. I try to middle the ground. I get used balls too, but I get the like mint condition from like Lost Golf balls.
Mhm.
Those type ones that I'll look at, and but I need to start selling them in like 4 packs, like egg cartons or something, to get rid of them because they're great for outside. They're just not working
Right.
for inside.
But you make golf clubs available to your guests if they need them.
Yeah, I actually, when I got started, same thing. The average guy may not have clubs, or maybe they want to learn clubs, or learn how to play.
Hmm.
I have right-handed sets in each bay, and then I have a woman's set, and I have a left-handed set available. I even have I even have a little set of baby clubs. Like I'm talking baby clubs, where people have brought their toddler in, and the little kid is hitting balls in the back, plastic balls off the wall. I got some, 5 to 8 year old clubs, and what's the next ones? I think they're 10 to 12s, like junior type things. Just some little things, just because. And guess what? They get used.
Right.
They do get
So
used.
so in your pro shop, do you sell golf clubs also?
Yeah, yeah. So we sell Vice clubs. So I have box sets. I have from juniors up to their box set. I also have standalone wedges and putters from Vice because I like that stuff. I think it's a good product for that. I wanted stuff that was different that the local stores didn't have or my local country clubs didn't have. So
Hmm.
everything that we went after were different, predominantly 90% was something different. We specifically searched that out. I also carry Tour Edge, their hot launch set. I don't carry the exotics today, but I have access to them. But there is no other Tour Edge dealer down this way. So we worked out a deal with them. The country clubs were dragging their feet. And I said, look, I got all these guys are coming here anyways. So we got a nice display. We have demo clubs that for people to try and use, and they can get clubs. We just got into that, like I said, probably within the last 60 days. Um, but we
Are you
have
thinking
them.
of are you thinking about doing a demo day for golf clubs or?
Yeah, yeah. We actually are going to we're going to have demo day, at least for the Tour Edge product, where the rep's going to come over. We're doing some just with some of the instructors, just because I've had people say, hey, Steve, man, I think I might want to try these or
Hmm.
do these. I said, well, listen, I'm the average guy. I'm gonna get people smarter than me here, and we're gonna go through it together.
Right.
Like even for the TPI stuff, something that I did when we started that dating process, I said I want to go through it myself first. So I went to his facility, went through the TPI program, learned everything that was wrong with me, and honestly, first time back out, boy, I was hitting my iron a lot better. I said, boy, it's good, and I can validate what I'm giving you.
Yeah. And they work and they're and probably a little bit more affordable than the
Yeah, and
big
that's the
name
other thing.
brands.
And that's why we went to hot launch. Hot launch thing, you can buy a driver for 299 versus $500-600.
Right.
Not
Right.
everybody can afford a $500 driver, but
Yeah.
they don't want to use my Titleist box set that's all banged up over here either. They want to take the next, what's the next step for them? So we think this is like the next step. And based on the feedback, that's kind of what we're seeing.
Makes sense. Steve, if you were to start all over, what would you do different?
Oh, I'm going to tell you the number one thing that I underestimated was the results, the demand. I was very cautious. That's why I started. I have 2 bays. Okay. I started with 2 bays because my opinion was, and I didn't even build them in. I have sim booths, sim booth twos. which I love the product. People come through here all the time and they go, it's very high end looking. We tried to make the place a little higher end looking off of that. But my opinion was if this didn't work, I don't have to rebuild the building. I can dismantle these things, put them on marketplace, sell them, and move on to the next project. I underestimated the demand of the customer. I mean, there's so many times where I'm booked out, or I'm at capacity. People are messaging me because I'm very hands-on. I text people, I talk to them like everybody. I don't care who it is. We're talking, we're texting, I'm checking on them. They have my phone number. I've gotten calls at 2 in the morning. I answer the phone. Like that's just the way I do business. And I underestimated the demand. So if I was going to do something different, I probably would have maybe added that third bay out of the gate, or I probably might not even have done this pro shop. I might have just blew out the walls and added more bays in. Um, I got too far ahead of myself on that. So I am expanding, but I'm not expanding in this building. So
Interesting. Yeah, well, that was my next question is what's the future look like? What are the plans? What are the goals?
yeah, so I've contracted for property. I mean, like I said, I own this property. I contracted in April. We're having a little struggle with the contractor, but should have already been digging a hole. I'm putting another building out back. It's kind of like off of an L off of this one, where you can still come in our place with the keypad access and everything. Go to the back. That I'm going to set up for more of a. We are going to advance into the other people, a little bit more member only structure. um, so we have about another, it's going to be about 1,800 square feet of a usable space that'll be in the new building. My goal was to have it open by September. I'm not going to make it at this point. So it's probably going to be a winter project at this point. And that's where I'm looking. I'm looking at other brands options. There's some things that I saw that at the PGA show that I like. I've had people try to talk me into like maybe I just buy a TrackMan unit just because. Maybe because customers like TrackMan. They want to buy, they want to swing a TrackMan. You're going to pay TrackMan price though when you come. I mean, you have to.
Right.
Um, I like the Unicore stuff with some of the AI training software and some things that are coming out. So I've looked at maybe putting one of those bays in down the road, like for the instructors that are coming through and some things like that also. We can charge a little bit more, but you're going to get more.
Right.
If you want the casual bays out front, then you do the casual. If you want to be a member, you want to go a little higher end, probably include the snacks and things in the backside. At least that's what I'm brainstorming now. But the building's going up one way or the other, so I've already paid for it. So
Well, this has been very eye-opening and exciting to hear because the sad part that you told me, Steve, is that you hear of people closing versus the ones that are opening. And that's frustrating for all of us because the last thing we want to see is people going out of business, right? So, let me ask you this. So if someone's new to the industry or thinking about getting in, are you open to a phone call or questions that they can reach out to you?
yeah, absolutely. People were open to me when I got started.
Mm,
There were a handful of people that the golfing guys turned me on things that were working for them. I didn't do everything they were doing, but it was a good starting point for me
right.
to learn from guys that were doing things well and not so well on what was working. I think this whole structure here is fantastic also, because you can see that, but what's working, what's not working for people. But at the end of the day, you got to do what works for you, right? Because what works for me might not work for you. What worked for the guy last week may not work for me, and vice versa. I think you have to look at what's your capacity and what do you want out of it at the end of the day. If your goal is to be you're a pro, you're an instructor, you want to do something, you're going to do lessons. That's a whole different avenue than what I do. So who are you? That's what I think. Who are you? What do you want to be? But absolutely, anyone wants to reach out, email me, call me, text me, whatever. I'll at least tell you straight up. You may not like what I say, but I'll at least tell you straight up. So.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, before I wrap up, well, I'm gonna tell everyone who's new a little bit about the IGA if you're new to us. But for those of you who do not know who we are the Indoor Golf Alliance, and we are here to serve the industry to help operators do a better job. We have weekly newsletters, we have monthly webinars, we have now this weekly podcast, we have a facility finder, we have a resource directory. We will be having regional trade shows, and we're here to serve you. The biggest, I think, benefit is that we can connect you and give you, folks in the industry to talk with. If you have questions, we're here to help you grow, help you get started, whatever it takes. So Steve, I want to thank you so much for your time. Any closing words of wisdom to our audience?
Ring the register every day. That's what I tell my wife. I said she says it now too. Just ring the register every day. Whatever you got to do, sell something.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. This, if by chance you want to share this, we'll be sending you the recording, and we look forward to hearing from you and any questions that you have. And we will be back at it next week, so please join us. And thank you, Steve. Appreciate your wisdom. Thank you, everyone. Keep up the good work, and we will see you next week. Thanks.